Today, we're diving into the original Pinocchio, and I promise you, it's a story that is way darker, way stranger, and honestly, a lot more profound than the one you think you know. We're going to explore the wooden soul at the very heart of this parable. So let me just ask you, when you hear the name Pinocchio, what pops into your head? You probably picture a cheerful little puppet who just wants to be a real boy, right? A story about wishing on stars. Okay, I want you to forget all of it. Because the story we're about to unpack isn't a fairy tale, not even close. It's a harsh lesson carved from wood and desperation. You see, on one side, you've got the curious, lovable boy from the movies. But on the other, you have Carlo Collodi's original creation, a creature of pure, raw instinct. This Pinocchio isn't just a little mischievous. He's feral. He is basically a blank slate of untamed impulse. He's what the 19th century thought children were, wild beings, born into a world that had absolutely no time for innocence. And that gets us to this core idea of his wooden nature. This isn't just about being made of wood. No, it symbolizes being trapped by your own raw instincts, a kind of moral stiffness, a complete and total lack of self-control. To become real, Pinocchio doesn't need to break free from puppet strings. He doesn't even have any. He has to break out of the prison of himself. And that right there is the central argument of Collodi's entire work. Humanity isn't some magical gift you get from a fairy. It is a grueling, painful achievement. It has to be earned through pain, discipline, and serious self-sacrifice. It's a transformation that will cost you everything. Now, to really understand Pinocchio's struggle, you first have to understand the world he was carved into. It's a place that is fundamentally cruel, completely upside down, a world where the rules of fairness just do not apply. You see, the real villains in this story aren't just a sneaky fox and a cat. The true antagonists are the relentless forces of life in 19th century Italy. We're talking about grinding poverty, a constant gnawing hunger that drives almost every bad decision, a physical cold that you can feel in every chapter. This is a world with zero safety net. And in a world like that, well, being good is a luxury you can't afford. Survival is the only thing that matters. The choices aren't really between right and wrong. They're between starving and not starving. So this story is less of a children's tale and more of a survival guide for the absolutely desperate. This scene just perfectly sums up the twisted logic of Pinocchio's world. After he gets robbed, he goes to the authorities for help, right? But the judge, who is literally a gorilla in robes, sentences Pinocchio to prison because he was the victim. Being robbed just proved how foolish he was, and in this world, foolishness is the only real crime. Yeah, this is what we call absurd justice. It's a savage critique of the very systems that are supposed to protect people. You can just feel Collodi's deep distrust of institutional authority. He's showing us a world where the system isn't just broken, it's completely backward, punishing the innocent and letting the corrupt walk free. The lesson here? Don't trust the system. Your redemption has to be a personal battle. So, in a world that has no fair justice, every single action has a direct and brutal consequence. There is a price for every mistake, and that price is always paid in the currency of suffering. And this, honestly, is one of the most jarring parts of the original book. There are no gentle lessons here. Every single mistake Pinocchio makes leads to immediate, and I mean visceral, physical trauma. There is no one to catch him when he falls. I mean, the consequences are just horrific. He falls asleep with his feet on the stove and they burn right off into stumps. He's left for dead, literally hanged from a tree by assassins. He gets caught in a trap and is almost fried in a pan like a fish. And of course, he gets transformed into a donkey and worked nearly to death. This is not gentle moralizing. It's a grotesque catalog of cause and effect. But you know, the suffering isn't just Pinocchio's. You have to consider the immense burden on his father, Geppetto. He sacrifices his own health, his food, his warmth. He sells his only coat in the middle of winter just to buy Pinocchio an alphabet book. He literally trades his own freedom so his son can have a shot at his. This is so much more than love. It's a level of sacrifice that Pinocchio in his wooden state just can't even begin to understand. So, what's the only way out of this brutal cycle? What's the one tool that offers an escape from a life of being a puppet, whether you're a puppet to a master or just to your own worst instincts? Well, it all comes down to the battle for the soul. Remember that alphabet book, the one that cost Geppetto so much? Well, it's everything. It's so much more than a tool for learning to read.
It is the key to a future that isn't about servitude, that isn't in a puppet theater or a salt mine. It represents the path to becoming a person who can make his own choices, a person with real agency.
And so, Pinocchio comes to this ultimate fork in the road, the choice that's going to define his entire struggle. Does he take the difficult path of the schoolhouse or the easy, tempting road to the land of toys? It's a pretty clear choice. The schoolhouse, that represents autonomy. It's the hard work and discipline you need to build a real future. The land of toys, well, it offers the exact opposite, instant gratification. It's a paradise of pure fun, but it's all a lie. It's a trap that leads directly back into servitude, transforming boys into donkeys by appealing to their most basic, unthinking desires.
So after all that pain, all the sacrifice, all the brutal lessons, we finally arrive at the story's incredibly grim but powerful conclusion. A soul isn't born, it is forged. You can really break this entire parable down into 5 hard steps. 1. You start as a wild being of pure instinct. 2. You get thrown into a cruel and unjust world. 3. You pay a terrible, physical price for every single mistake. 4. You have to consciously choose difficult education over easy fun. And 5. Only then, through incredible sacrifice for others, do you finally earn your humanity. So the final, chilling moral of Collodi's original story is basically this. There is no growth without pain. There is no wisdom without scars. Suffering is the ultimate teacher. It's the fire that burns away the wood and finally reveals the person underneath. And that kind of leaves us with a final, pretty unsettling question for our own time. In a world that tries so hard to remove every obstacle, to build a safety net for every single fall, if hardship really is the greatest teacher, what essential lessons about becoming human have we forgotten?